This Israeli, she's one of Donald Trump's biggest fans, and she was just indicted for sleeping with an underage student that goes to the school she works at in Georgia. And I want to use this video to highlight some MAGA hypocrisy, because right-wingers have been conveniently quiet about this story, some of them even defending it, which proves that Republicans don't actually care about children or their well-being. They just pretend to try to justify their hatred of LGBTQ people, because whenever we have the chance to pass gun control legislation, Republicans turn it down. Whenever we have the chance to help low-income students have food during their school day, Republicans shoot that down. But then they'll use children as pawns by claiming that liberals are groomers. I have heard Marjorie Taylor Greene say that verbatim, while conveniently ignoring this story of Rayleigh Greeson and her friend being charged with 2 counts of sexual contact by employee or agent in the first degree. Her other friend was also charged with 1 count of sexual contact by employee or agent in the first degree. And some people dug up their Facebook accounts. They have been to MAGA rallies. They are ardent Donald Trump supporters, but all of the Twitter accounts like End Wokeness or Libs of TikTok that try to call out liberals will not say a single word about this. They also won't say a single word about the megachurch pastor, Trump's spiritual advisor Robert Morris, admitting he abused girls in the 1980s. This is a story that will not burst through the MAGA sphere because they like to stay insulated and act like the other side are full of the things that they are full of. They are full of projection. I know the phrase is cliche, but every accusation is a confession with MAGA. This article reads, Robert Morris, founding pastor of Gateway Megachurch and one-time spiritual advisor to Donald Trump, has admitted to, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady during the 1980s. The young lady, now a 54-year-old grandmother, was 12 when it started. Morris was in his early 20s and married with a child when his family stayed at the home of then 11-year-old Cindy Clemishire. The abuse started on Christmas night. This is the party of family values. We then learned that Robert Morris tried to pay off Sydney for her silence and even threatened Sydney with jail. MAGA is also conveniently quiet about this story. Matt Gaetz subpoenaed by woman he allegedly had sex with when she was a minor in defamation suit brought by friend. Gaetz could be asked under oath about the allegations involving a minor. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz on Thursday was served a subpoena to sit for a deposition in a civil lawsuit that involves allegations he had sex with a 17-year-old girl, sources tell ABC News, as a part of a suit brought by a friend and the congressman against the young woman and others. MAGA will not talk about that, and I just want to hammer this point home. Republicans only pretend to care about children so they can further try to justify their hatred of LGBTQ people. Republicans will say, save the children, and then in the next breath, they will try to defund, eliminate the Department of Education, which 1, would disproportionately hurt low-income students, 2, would deprive children of education and updated technology, updated curricula, and 3, we just see an overall decline in educational quality as teachers are laid off and as their salaries are cut and as children don't have access to high-quality food. But yeah, MAGA truly wants to save the children. So this story reads, former Georgia school staffers, best friends accused of sex with students. These were the Trump supporters. A pair of close friends from Georgia who were part of each other's wedding parties have been charged for allegedly bedding male students at the Georgia school district where they worked. Watch this video.
2 former teachers face serious charges involving students. A Gordon County grand jury has indicted Rayleigh Greeson and Brooklyn Schuler on charges related to having sex with students. The 2 were reportedly employed by the City of Calhoun School District at the time. The indictment states between October 2021 and January 22, Greeson had sex with 2 male students and Schuler had sex with 1. The indictment charges both women with counts of sexual contact by employee or agent in the first degree.
Brosifus on Twitter pointed out, likely Marjorie Taylor Greene voters as well based on their place of employment. I bet you won't hear them being called groomers or pedophiles by Georgia MAGA either. And that is exactly my point here. MAGA will bury their heads in the sand if it means them not having to call out Matt Gaetz or these teachers right here, but then they go out of their way to harass left-leaning teachers just because the teacher's hair is blue. You guys have seen those Twitter accounts like Libs of TikTok TikTok, like End Wokeness, that constantly harass certain school teachers. We've even heard reports of certain teachers getting death threats, certain schools getting bomb threats after being featured on these right-wing Twitter accounts, but they don't care when there's actual grooming going on. I don't want to go too deep into this, but Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein have been seen together being buddy-buddy. Donald Trump has flown around on Jeffrey Epstein's jets, and there are allegations that they committed heinous acts together, but people like Marjorie Taylor Greene would rather spend their time projecting and acting like the Democrats are the ones that enable this type of stuff. Also, this is so obvious, but there is this entire systemic problem with the Catholic Church that the Republican Party is currently upholding. I know this phrase is a little bit cliche, but it's absolutely true with the MAGA Republicans. Every single accusation is a confession when it comes to them. Remember on the debate stage when Donald Trump said that President Biden was so criminal or something along those lines? Meanwhile, this is a man who was convicted with 34 counts of falsifying business records. They called Democrats groomers and rapists, again, so they can help justify their hatred of LGBTQ people, but then on their side, they are full of these pastors, these priests who sexually abuse younger women, these politicians who abuse their positions of power, Donald Trump who is buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. Republicans also try to claim that Democrats are the ones who are trying to end democracy. Meanwhile, they are voting for a man who tried to place false slates of electors in all of these swing states. He pressured Brad Raffensperger. He pressured Mike Pence. I'm going to say it one more time. Every time the Republicans accuse us of something, it is a confession. They are straight up projecting and trying to cover it up. And honestly, it works a lot of the time because they have this media infrastructure set up where Republicans can tell one lie on TikTok or get one story of kitty litter boxes in bathrooms, and then that blows up on Twitter. End Wokeness and libs of TikTok, they pick it up, and then that's picked up by the New York Post, and then Fox News picks it up, and then Sinclair Broadcasting distributes it to all of these households. Right now, the right-wing media infrastructure allows for them to project successfully, and the Democrats are always on the defense when I think it's about time that we go on the offense. We have 4 months until the election, and I'm not gonna lie, President Biden is down in all of the swing state polling. Whether or not you believe polling is predictive, I think it should worry all of us that it says President Biden is down. So let's go on the offense. Let's make sure we're out there attacking MAGA Republicans, calling them out for what they are, calling out the MAGA politicians as the authoritarians they are, or at the very least they allow this authoritarianism. They're complacent while the other Republicans do it. So we have to go on the offense. We have to go mobilize, phone bank. We have to make sure that we're working together. We're fighting together as a coalition. So make sure you subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. Let's hit 3 million subscribers before the election. Go subscribe to my personal Adam Mockler YouTube channel. Also, I made an Adam Mockler subreddit. You should go join that and post some memes. We're trying to build a community heading into this election. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.